Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and in today's video, I'm going to do a solo playthrough of Unsettled. In this video, I'm going to play Planet 1, Wenora, and I will be playing Task A. Let's get rolling. Alright, welcome to Wenora. I am all set up here to play a solo game of Unsettled, playing on Planet 1 Wenora, and I am playing the first task, Task A. So I am playing this two-handed. There are two characters. You really need at least two to play this game. Some of the mechanics don't work with just a single player. So if you're going to try and solo it, you will need to play two-handed. And I want to say up front, Unsettled is slightly narrative-driven. So if you are real strict about spoilers, you'll probably not want to watch this video. You've got plenty of time to click away, though. I'll warn you before I get going. But this is, Planet 1 and Task A, so this is like the starting place. So if you're considering getting this game, this might be interesting for you to see. And personally, I don't think, I would not equate this game to like escape room type games where you play it once, then you're kind of done and the puzzle's solved. I think it's got replayability. I've played this task before. I'm happy to play it again, and I'll play it again after this video another time. I'll be happy to continue to play this task. So I don't think it's ruined by seeing it. That's my personal opinion, but there are a little bit of small surprises, and you can kind of optimize a little bit if you've played it before and you remember some of the things that are coming. So just know that, but personally I don't think it's too bad. And so I'm going to do this solo playthrough, and then I will talk more generally about the Unsettled franchise, what I think about this planet, this task, and future Unsettled content that I might make. I'll talk about all that at the end of the video once you've got some context and you've seen a playthrough. But I've got my green player and my blue player set up. I do have these action trackers. These are an add-on. I've done an unboxing video for those, so that just kind of helps me keep track of what things I've done on my turn. Over here, my opportunity cards are split into two equal-sized decks. I've got my planet-specific cards here. These are the hallucination cards. Typically, according to the layout on these boards, this spot is where you would put your environment cards, but for this first task, the environment cards are already laid out on the table, so we don't need that spot. So I've just taken the planet-specific cards from here and moved them to here just for table space reasons. And then the story cards are going to go here. So this is, normally it's like a booklet that you flip through, but instead I will flip the pages up so you can kind of just oriented this way to match the camera so you can read what the heck is going on. And then I've also rotated the buildings, including Luna's synthesizer. I don't expect to use it, but it's here. And then Luna's ability is there as well. So my intent in this playthrough is not to read the narrative elements word for word, but to just quickly gloss over, hey, here's what's going on, and then we'll get started. So one thing I need to do to finish setup is I need to give two traits at random to each character, and then we can choose from the two that I've dealt. So I believe there's 12 traits in the game. I've removed two because I've played this one time before, and I want to see different traits. So the two that I got before, just by random, I dealt out two to one character, two to the other, and one of them had Zealot, and the other one had Skeptic, and I thought that that was a funny combination, so those are the two I picked. And then I actually didn't really use them very much. So anyway, I've removed them just so I don't get the same ones again. And here we go. Commander or Harmonist for green, and Caretaker or Nonconformist for blue. And I haven't played with any of these before. I think I'm going to take Harmonist and Caretaker. I think that sounds like a pretty good combo to me. So for Harmonist, this will cover up the recover action. Instead of pipping up 3 times and then losing trust, you pip up 2 times. If you use your wonder die, you also gain 1 insight, and then you spend 1 time instead of losing trust. So that goes here. And then if we go down on the trust track, we flip this over. Instead of covering recover, this one covers support. Since you still pip down once, but then instead of removing 1 distress and gaining a trust, you remove 2 distress and gain a trust. So that's the Harmonist. And these have nice flavor text on them too. So as the Harmonist, when we're covering up the recover action, when our trust is high, it says, I find peace in retreat. And when our trust is low, as the Harmonist, it says, inner peace makes me resilient. So there we go. The other one is the caretaker. The flavor text on this side says, focus on self creates insecurity that I'm not needed. So for the caretaker, we cover our rest action. So instead of pipping up and advancing time, we do not pip up. We advance time, and then a local explorer can pip up, and you can distribute. There's 2 pip ups. So you can distribute those among any explorers on your current node. So it could be just you. You could pip up twice, or your partner could pip up twice, or you can each take one, so that's nice. And then on the other side of rest, if our trust is low, this covers support. So we'll both be covering support if trust goes down. That's interesting. But this one, you still pip down, and then any other explorer, instead of the default remove a distressed, increase trust, you remove a distress, increase trust, and the other explorer pips up. So those are our traits, and that's kind of how that setup piece works. So now I'm going to start getting into the mission specific, or I'll start talking about the planet specific stuff and then the task specific stuff. So if you are really worried, like really worried about spoilers, then this is probably the time to click away, and I'll give you another warning before I actually start playing. But this is planet Wenora, and it is called the Fungal Jungle. It is covered in a dense fungus, or really I should say a wide variety of fungi, all sorts of funguses. And so it's just this giant, vast ecosystem, and we're going to have to interact with it. So a couple of global requirements. Whenever an explorer leaves a node, and you're starting one, your ship here, the Scarab, is not a node. But any of these planetary ones, whenever an explorer leaves, they kick up a bunch of fungal spores. So we take one of these black resource cubes, these are the planet-specific cubes, and you leave it on the node that they just left. Then, anytime an explorer begins their turn in a node that has one of these black cubes, they gain 1 distress. And again, distress will cover up one of the actions on your board. So it kind of hinders you a little bit. And then anytime an explorer gains their second distress, then they're going to draw one of these planet-specific cards, which in this case are hallucinations. So the distress cards are all the same. They're all identical, and that's what I've seen at least in the first 6 boxes, the first 6 planets. It seems that they're all identical. I don't know if that'll hold true for the whole series. But all of these hallucination cards are unique, and they're not necessarily bad. They could be bad, but they could be beneficial too. So we'll see if we interact with any of that. So we can put this cube back for now. Put this explorer back here. Obviously, in this layout, we're going to be flipping these over to reveal them. So these are all randomly distributed and shuffled. And then we've got some planet-specific tokens in the top left up there. All those purple tokens, we're just going to leave those there until we are instructed to do something different. And for the distress cards right there are 3 per player. So we've got 6 of them in that stack. If we ever needed to draw a card and there were none left, then we would lose endurance, and that would be bad. So let's get into the task. So I'm going to start talking about the task-specific stuff. So again, this is an opportunity for people to click away. I still think it's kind of okay, but you would start by reading this first page in quotes of this book. It's just a handful of paragraphs. So I'm going to summarize for you real quick. You can pause and zoom in if you really want to see it. But the idea is there was some sort of wormhole event. It doesn't get into the details, but our ship was critically damaged. Most of the crew has been lost. We don't know how we're going to get home. And importantly, for the survivors, the food stores are empty. We've got nothing to eat. So that's our immediate problem. And luckily, we were able to find this planet. It took about an hour circling the planet to find a place to land because it's so densely thick with fungal life. But we found a spot, we've landed, so we're on the Scarab here with our 2 explorers and our trusty robot Luna, and we're ready to get going. So I'm going to flip this booklet to the next page and we'll see the first part of our task, and this is really where the gameplay is starting. So again, last chance to click away if you are super hyper vigilant about spoilers, but I think if you've made it this far, you're probably good to go. So let's do it. All right, so this page, it just tells us how to set up the map, and we've already done that. So the Wenora cards have 2 of these swampy quagmire cards. You're supposed to just remove one from the deck, place one here, and then make a grid of 12 randomly shuffled up Wenora cards in the middle like this. And then this is the first thing that we need to do. So there's going to be several sort of mini assignments as part of task A here. And the first one is we just need to build our 3 structures. So from left to right here, or from bottom to top up there, there is a research hut, a laboratory, and a workshop, and we need to build all of them. And then it says at the bottom, when all 3 science structures have been built, advance the card. So that's all we really need to do. Let's get started. And we will have the green player go first. And we have a number of actions we can take, but we must do the rest action at some point on our turn. And on our insight tracks here, I've just set the green player to chemistry, which is the green symbol, and the blue player to robotics, which is the blue symbol. So I just made green, green, and blue, blue for no particular reason. And whoever gets a comprehension first, I'll flip them over to the engineering insight next. And if that doesn't make sense, no big deal. Let's get going. So I'm going to have green go first. And the first thing green's going to do is move Luna. So I'm going to slide this little tracker over so I know that I've moved Luna and I don't do it again. I'm going to move Luna from here to here, which is the only thing you can do because you can only move orthogonally, not diagonally. So we reveal this first location. Ooh, and that looks nice. These are necrotrophic floating jellies. And so we move Luna here. There are no edge node symbols here, so we wouldn't have to do anything when an explorer moves through. Luna always ignores the edge node symbols anyway, but now at least we know what we're getting into. And there's an action space here. So the action space says entangle. You would pip down twice and then remove all distress. So that could be useful. And then there are no edge node symbols on this side either or on the top. There are on the bottom though. So if we were to move down, we would gain 1 insight and advance time. So the next thing I'm going to do is I will move my explorer. So I get a free move action. So I'm going to move green from there to here. And then I think I'm going to do this investigate action because that's cool. So I've been talking about pipping up and pipping down. We've got these dice here. So the green is the wonder die, and I've got 2 pips there. So to go here, this says to pip down. So I rotate it from 2 to 1. And because I use the wonder die, I get a bonus on this space. I get 1 insight. So we advance this track. And now investigate. So I reveal an opportunity on my current node. So whenever you take that investigate action, you take one of these investigate tokens and place it on that node to show we cannot investigate there again. And now we can either choose from that magenta stack or the blue stack. Let's take the blue one because it's less of a reach. So this represents in the moment. We are now in the moment. So what's happening in this moment? Let's grab the associated opportunity card and see. So a roving tentacle knot. So we're going to read this left side here and then do whatever this says, and now there's a new action available. So let's go through the whole thing. So roving tentacle knot. A gaggle of putrid, disembodied appendages float lethargically by, thick, rubbery ends dragging. One whips itself around your helmet, moist suction cups adhering vigorously. Everything shimmers and slows. And then your perceptions explode. Your screams can be heard far and wide. So now it says engaged. Place this near your dashboard. And when we're engaged, we now put our explorer on this in the moment token. So if we keep moving around, this will come with us. So we will remain in the moment until we do something about this. And when you enter a node, pip down and gain 1 material. All right, so let's slide this over so we know this is for green specifically. Now it says suction tentacle, so we're going to grab that token from the display here. These are the planet specific tokens. All right, so how do we get rid of this? How do we unstick the tentacles? It says 2 explorers must be present. Somebody places a die there. We pip down. If you use an energy die, you also gain an insight, and that's it. Then you unstick the tentacles. This can only be performed by a non-engaged explorer, so green can't do it to themselves. So blue's going to have to help green out. So there you go. That's neat, I guess. So let's have Luna scan next. So we can either scan for data or materials. I'm going to scan for materials right now. So I've got the green die. Let's shake it up and roll it. 1. So we add 1 material to this node here. And I want to point this out because this is a mistake I made on my first playthrough when I played alone. Well, I guess I'm playing alone now too, but without the cameras. You can take this action to pick up, for Luna, to pick up data cubes, if you had scanned for data, off of a node where Luna is. So Luna can gather the data cubes, put them here. To gather the materials, a player, an explorer, must pick them up from their node. So Luna scans for data and Luna scans for materials, but Luna picks up data and explorers pick up materials. I was having Luna pick up everything. I didn't quite understand that, so just thought I'd point it out. So we've scanned. I've got 2 more dice I can set. I can't put one here because another player has to do it. I can't build a structure because there's not a spot on that node for a structure. I wouldn't get much use out of Harmonist right now or support. I don't really want to traverse because then I'll have to pip down, and I don't want to get too far away from blue because only blue can remove that suction tentacle. So I think I'm going to theorize. So I'm going to use my awareness die, pip down. There is a bonus here. If you use the awareness die, gain 1 insight. And now another explorer gains 1 insight is the action. So blue gains 1 insight. So this last die must go on rest, and that pips it up and then advances time. So I've now set all my focus die, or focus blocks, I believe they're called. And this last action tracker is for miscellaneous actions, and I don't have any other actions I can take right now. So I'm going to recover these 3 focus blocks, reset my trackers, and now it is blue's turn. So the first thing I'm going to do is move my explorer, and I'm going to take blue and move on to this node here. Again, there are no edge node or node edge symbols that I'm passing, so I don't need to do anything there. And now right away, I want to unstick this tentacle. So I'm going to use the energy die because you get a bonus if you do that. So you pip down, down to 1, place it there. And because I use my energy block, I gain 1 insight. And now I've unstuck the tentacle. So since blue performed this action, blue is going to grab this and an anomaly. And so let's just take this and leave it face down. We get this at the end of our turn, but we got whatever this anomaly is. And there are no other bonuses here, so I'm just going to leave this until we recover our die at the end of the turn. But this will be interesting if nothing else. And now I will have blue move Luna. So I want to go here with Luna. And, what is this one? This is a Mysogastria ball pit. Sounds fun. And there is a time symbol here. So when you traverse from here to here, it costs 1 time. And then when you enter this, if you possess rare polymers, you can power up 2 energy. So I don't have any rare polymers right now, but that's good to know. And you know what? I am going to clean up some of this stuff a little bit because this opportunity has been resolved. So I'm going to take this moment marker. We're no longer engaged with it. So I'm going to place that back. I'm going to leave this here, but this effect no longer applies because we've gotten that suction tentacle off, right? And now I'm going to have blue traverse. So that's this action here. I can't use my energy die because I've already used it. So I won't be able to get the bonus insight, but that's okay. I'll use this wonder die. So I pip down. And now I can move my explorer. So this is in addition to the free move action I've already taken. This is a traverse action. I can move my explorer and I can carry 1 local explorer with me. So I'm going to pick up green and we're going to go here. So we flip this over. This is going to cost 1 time but gain us 1 insight. That only applies to the player who's doing the moving. Green is being carried and then ignores all of these effects. So blue gains 1 insight. It advances time and comes down here and brings green. And this has the same rare polymers effect that this tile does. So that's interesting. And now because we have left this node, we mark it with one of these fungal spores. And so now let's take that scan action with Luna. And this time I'm going to scan for data. So let's roll this blue die. And we've got 1. So that goes here. And then later I could put a focus die here to take this action for Luna to gather that data. But I've only got 1 focus die left, and I must take a rest action. So I will place this here. I do not need to pip down because of my caretaker ability. And now we need to advance time, and a local explorer may pip up 2 times. And we can distribute that amongst any local explorers. And local just means sharing the same node, so green or blue. So I think let's pip up once for blue and once for green on the awareness die. So I've set all my focus. I could take miscellaneous actions, but I don't really have any. So I'm going to take back my focus blocks to here. Careful not to roll them or anything. This opportunity is gone, so I'm just going to put it face up on the bottom of this pile. I don't suspect we'll get through the whole stack, but that way if we do, we'll know that we've reached the bottom. And now let's find out what this anomaly is. So in order to use this, a chemistry comprehension must be present. So we don't have any comprehension on any characters yet, but present means either you have one yourself or another explorer on your node has one. But as long as there's one present, you can use this ability. And the ability would have you discard, let's put this down here, we would discard this suction tentacle and the card and remove one spore cloud from your node and or one from an adjacent node. So certainly I can imagine that being helpful. Let's reset my action trackers and go into the next turn with green. And let's again start by moving Luna. So we'll go from here to here. I kind of just want to go down the middle. And this probably has some crazy non-pronounceable name. Not too bad. Incandescent Slime River. So there is just the one time symbol here, but nothing on this one. And there's this immediate effect. If you enter this zone and you are a fungal host, which blue now is. Blue has this fungal host tag, so that applies to blue. Let me talk about that more in a second. But when entering that node, if you're a fungal host, you gain one material immediately just from the supply into the general pool. So we came across this rare polymers tag. Here's the fungal host tag. The best description I've seen for these tags, and this may have been an official Orange Nebula a video or in the booklet somewhere, but it said, think of these tags similar to the way you might think of being tall. You don't need to activate being tall, you just are tall. And when you're tall, you might be able to get some benefits, like you can reach things that are high, but there may be some pitfalls, like you bump your head on stuff. So we don't need to do anything to activate this. We just are a fungal host now. Blue is a fungal host. That's just the way it is. It's a property they have until this card goes away. But let's have Luna scan again, and we're just kind of alternating. Let's go for materials again. So I get the green die here, roll it. 2. Okay, so there's 2 materials on this node available to be picked up by an explorer. And now I'm going to take the traverse action. I'm going to use my energy die, so I pip it down to 2. I gain 1 insight for using the correct or matching die. And now I'm going to move green into here, carrying blue with me. So we know we're going to pass 1 time symbol. Ooh, there's something cool there. Spongy Trumpet Swamp. Okay, so green enters. Costs us 1 time, but green gains 1 insight. So there's the insight, there's the time, carries blue with, and immediately upon entering, if you possess fungal host, which blue does, you may, I guess, place a die here to soak up energy. So you pip up 3 times. Oh, and I read that incorrectly. It's not when entering, it's just here's an action that is on this space, but it's only available if you have fungal host. So blue can take that action, but green cannot. Now let's not forget, we left this node, so we kicked up some fungal spores here. And now green just can't stop touching things. So we're going to investigate again. Let's take this green die, pip it down to the time symbol. So it's at 0. We don't advance time, but we do advance time if we try to pip it down again. But because we used our wonder die, we gain 1 insight. So that is going to lead to 1 comprehension. So this is of the chemical variety. So we take one of these comprehensions and we place it here. Bring this back around. Now we can set it to any face we want. Let's put it on engineering since nobody's working on that. And because we got the comprehension, we also gain a matching breakthrough. So there are 4 of these in each stack. They're all unique. So what does green have now? It says we can spend 1 material to apply gooey fungal salve. A local explorer can pip up and is immune to distress from spore cloud effects for this turn. And that is limit once per turn. So we'll put this here with breakthroughs. I think I'm a little bit tight on space though, so I'll probably start putting cards up here at some point. And that was all just related to this bonus action of gaining insight. So now I still am investigating. So let's just use this blue one again because it's closer and I can reach it. Again, these stacks are shuffled, so it shouldn't make any difference. And we need an investigate token. So we cannot investigate again on this node. And what do we get this time? We get a temporal spore cloud. So let's grab the Mysogastria ball. I don't expect I'm pronouncing that correctly. Let's see. This one says, a spore cloud envelops you and your mind is pulled in thousands of directions at once. You are everywhere and nowhere, popping from one environment to another before returning to your body and collapsing to the ground where you lay dazed. Coming to, you believe you could re-enter the cloud and grab something with potential. So immediately, the active explorer pips up twice. So let's do that on this die here. Let's go from time to 1, 2. And then at some point we can choose to nosedive into the spore cloud. So we'd pip down once, gain this, and immediately also gain 2 insight. So I know Wenora is the fungal planet, but it is also the trippy planet. So this is really, it's not greens necessarily, it's in the moment. And this is the moment marker. So anyone here on this node with that blue moment marker can interact with this. But that does not include green this turn because they've only got one of these focus blocks left and it must be used on rest. But we still have more action, so green can still move. And I think I'm going to have green just blindly jump into here. We know they're going to gain an insight. Let's move Explorer. Let's see what's here. All right, we have an Anthozoic forest. So by going into here, we get 1 insight and then another insight here, so 2 insight, but we must also advance time. And then there's an action here where you can just place your die there and pip it up. But because an explorer left this node, we must add a fungal spore there. So that's going to be an issue for blue in a moment. And somewhat surprisingly, I've explored 6 of these nodes now and I have not found any places to build any of these structures. So that's kind of slowing me down a little bit. I'm surprised I haven't gotten one yet. Although I've not looked through all the cards, I don't know how many of those spaces there are. I'm guessing at least 4 because there are the 3 main structures plus Luna's synthesizer, and I bet you can build them all. But oh well. Let's set the last die. I'm going to take my awareness die and go to rest, and that pips up. And now we have to advance time. And this time track, we're out of the track now. We have to loop it all the way back around to the beginning, which means everyone's endurance goes down 1. And if it gets all the way to the bottom, if all players are at no more endurance, then you are unconscious indefinitely. So that's a lose condition. So we've set all our focus die. Let's gather them back and reset our action tracker. And now it's blue's turn. And blue is starting their turn on a node with one of these fungal spores, so they need to gain a distress. So one of these. And this says blue is infected. So when gained, trust goes down. So we move this to here. And when trust goes down, we have to flip over our trait cards. So caretaker, this now goes to support. And harmonious, that also goes to support. There we go, we cover those. I have to cover one of my actions, and I think I'm going to do recover because I don't expect to need that right now. So that action's no longer available. And the moment I have 2 or more distress, I need to draw a hallucination card. So I'm at 1 right now. And I can also, as a free action, pip down 1 die at any time to move this distress to another slot. Now, I have this free action here. This is the anomaly I gained. So I could discard this to remove a spore cloud from my node and an adjacent node, but I can only do, and these can be used at any time to interrupt anything. So I could have interrupted this effect before I gained the distress, but this can only be used in the presence of chemical or chemistry comprehension, which I don't have. Green has it, but they're not local. They're not on my node, so that's why I couldn't use that card. But I think that's okay. I am going to start by interacting with this opportunity. So blue is in the moment. So blue is going to take the awareness die, pip it down 1, and nosedive into the spore cloud. So I do gain 2 insight from that, 1 and 2. So now I have one of these breakthroughs of the robotics type, comprehension, and I gain a breakthrough of the robotics type, so that goes here. And this says I can spend 1 data to deploy a mechanized puff which removes a spore cloud from Luna's node. All right, that's interesting. And now I also gain an anomaly. Here we go. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not totally sure of the order of events, but I think I'm just going to gain it now because I've interacted with the thing. I don't know why I wouldn't get it now. So this says, ooh, I have rare polymers. I must be, what is this? Engineering comprehension must be present. So that's the one I don't have at all. And then I can, when I discard the card, pip down one die and charge all the energy to maximum. So that's neat. And I have rare polymers now, so I can interact with these two cards and get some energy that way. So, okay, cool. I will leave this here just so I remember that I've used it though, but the moment has passed. I'm glad I nosedived into that spore cloud, an action I doubt anyone has ever regretted. And as for this insight die, I will, man, which one of these do I think I would use more? Let's set it to green. We'll set it to chemistry, so that I can maybe at least always have this one present. But it's good to have the rare polymers. So, okay, things are happening. So next I'm going to move Luna. I'll just keep going left and go to this space here. And hey, it's the first building slot that we've seen, so we're going to want that. And these are monolithic spore pillars. So Luna comes here, and in case you haven't noticed, Luna does not leave these spore clouds, only the explorers do when they exit a node. So I need to get somebody to this node, and then we can build a structure there. And let's have Luna scan. And again, I'm going to scan for materials. I'm going to use this die here. 3, okay. So those go here. And now I'm going to move my explorer, and I'm going to move up to this node. So there's already a spore cloud here. There can only be a max of 1, so I don't need to leave another one behind. There are no node edge symbols on either of these spaces, so no effect. But upon entering, I do have rare polymers now, so I gain 2 energy. So we can put these up here. That's a nice freebie. And I'm just going to keep moving, I think. I'm going to use my energy die, pip it down, place it here. I gain 1 insight. So that goes up 1, and now I can traverse. So I'm going to go up to here. I'm going to keep exploring. Flip that over, and that is another building type. And by going up here, we pass 1 insight and no time. So that's very nice. And we do leave a fungal cloud behind on that node. So now I've moved a couple times. What do I want to do? Well, I've only got 1 focus block left, and it will have to go on rest. And I don't have the resources to do anything about this. Not that it would have any effect right now anyway. I don't have the resources to use this because green can interrupt blue at any time and vice versa. I don't have either of the comprehension present to use either of these, so I'm kind of out of stuff to do. But that's all right. So I'm going to put my wonder die on the rest action. That's going to pip up, and I advance time. Okay, I'm in a decent spot. Now we recover our action dice because there are no other actions to take. This opportunity will just go to the bottom of the stack that it came from. There we go. And we will reset my action markers and hand it back over to green. And so green is not starting their turn on a node with a fungal spore, so that's a good thing for, not being distressed. Ooh, and speaking of distress, it's going to be hard for, I was going to have green help blue get rid of this distress because you can't get rid of your own. You've got to support each other, but they're super far away from each other now, so that's going to be tough to do. And let's start by moving Luna because I want to see what's in this corner. I don't know if I want to get to that building spot this way or this way. So we'll move Luna down here just to help us explore. Oh, and it's another building spot. That's interesting. So Luna comes down here. And now maybe let's have Luna scan. And I'm going to look for data again. So use the data die. Let's roll it. 1. All right. So 1 data here. All right, so there was a brief 24-hour pause there for a trip to the emergency room. Everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. But I am recollecting my thoughts as I remember what the heck I was doing. I know it was Green's turn. I can tell because some of the action markers are already flipped. And I did take that opportunity before I hit the record button again to just sort of standardize the placement of some of these items to make it a little easier, I think, to see from above. So I put the fungal spores on the top right of their associated nodes. I put resources in the bottom left, except for that one. And I put these investigated tokens in the bottom right. So it looks like I've already moved Luna and had Luna scan. So I think now I'm going to move Green into this node. So there are no node edge symbols I need to worry about, but I will leave a fungal spore cloud behind as is required. And now I'm going to build a laboratory. So I'm going to take the Wonder die and place it here. So I pip down and then I take this and it goes here on this tile, but I cannot take my die back and flip it over until the end of the turn. And so in addition to pipping down, the cost says either there must be a chemistry breakthrough present on the node, which there is because I'm green and I have a chemistry comprehension. I'm sorry, comprehension, not breakthrough. And if there was not one of those present, then I would have to spend a time. So I don't need to spend a time. And now we've got one of the three structures built. And now I'm going to take a traverse action and I will use my energy die. So I pip that down. I gain the bonus of gaining 1 insight, and I'm going to traverse up to this space so I'll be able to build another structure next time. And I've crossed over a time symbol, so I need to advance time. And I have exited this node, so that needs a spore cloud as well. Ooh, and you know what? My focus placement was not very smart. Let me swap these. I'm going to pip this one back up to 2 and have this one go down to 2. Because you can put any of the die on that one. It doesn't have to be the Wonder die. It's any die. So I'll do that one so that when I place Wonder on rest, I get to actually pip that up because the other one was already maxed. It wouldn't have done anything. So let's put the Wonder focus block here, which then advances time again. I've now set all my focus and I don't have any miscellaneous actions I want to take. So I'm going to flip all these back, recover my blocks, and now we can flip this over. So here is our laboratory. And now we have a new permanent free ability. We don't have to be on that node to activate it. We can at any time spend 1 material to pip up once, and you can do that as many times as you want so long as you can pay the cost. So that's pretty cool. And so now it's Blue's turn, and Blue has one of these robotics comprehension tokens. So we're going to build one of those buildings. I'm going to use the Wonder die. So we're going to build this research hut. So I have to pip down and I'll place this here. All right, so we're in good shape to complete this soon, this first part of the task. And then I'm going to take this theorize action, so pip down here, and now because I used my awareness block, I go up an insight, and then another explorer gains an insight. Okay, and now I think I'm going to have Luna scan, and there's already data down here, so I can't scan for data, but I can scan for materials. So let's do that. We'll roll this die, and we get 1 material. All right, and now let's move Luna, and I'm just going to go this way. So not much happens there, but I'm thinking maybe I can use this ability at some point later to remove a spore cloud from Luna's node. And oh, I can still move my explorer. And where do I want to go? I think I want to move this way to get a little bit closer to green. I don't really want to come down here because then I'll start where there's a spore cloud. But if we can get a little bit closer, then hopefully green can help with this distress card here. So I'm going to move. So let's see. I know there's already 1 time symbol. Okay, we've got an insight. That's good. I didn't want to use too much time, but there is an immediate effect too. So first, let's take care of the time and then the insight. And what does that card say? This is a bleeding Clathrus Grove. I don't know what that is, but it sounds terrible. And the immediate effect says, when you enter this node, if you do not have fungal host, you must gain a distress. So lucky for us, blue is a fungal host, so we don't need to gain another distress. We do need to leave a spore, though, on the node that we left. And now I will set my focus block here, this energy block, on rest. That pips it up. We advance time. And I think that's it for blue's turn. That does not need to be, by the way, your final action of your turn, but that's just generally what I've been doing. But now we can recover these, including this one, to activate our research hut. And what does this say? So we can spend 1 data to advance an insight. And again, it's just like this building. You don't need to be on that node to use it, and you can do it as many times as you want as long as you've got the data to spend. So we'll reset these action trackers and go back to green. And green will now take the theorize action. So we'll pip down, use the awareness die. So the bonus is green gains an awareness. And this is the engineering type, so we grab a comprehension because we've cycled that track, and we gain a breakthrough, and we'll look at that in just a moment. But also then another explorer gains an insight, and that gets blue a chemistry comprehension and breakthrough. So we'll take a look at those as well. And we have the opportunity now to reset these insight dice to whatever face we want. And yeah, let's just go for the one that each of them doesn't have. So we'll flip greens to the blue side for robotics, and we'll flip blues to the orange side for engineering. And so what breakthrough did green just get? This is attempt long range swap. And I'm going to start moving some of these here so I can reach them. So I can spend 1 energy, then it says roll the blue data die to determine your range. You may swap places with Luna if she's within that range. So right now, green's range from Luna is 1, 2. So if we wanted to use it, we would spend an energy, roll this. Our range is 1, we cannot swap. But if we roll again, range is 2, we could swap. So that could be helpful. And then what did the blue player get? We have ingest pearlescent slurry. That sounds delicious. So as a free action, blue can spend a material, and it says an explorer currently within 1 node may ignore time symbols on node edges for the remainder of this turn, even if they are no longer within 1 node. So that can be very convenient too, because time is a pretty limited resource and I'm kind of burning through it. But now that green's got this engineering comprehension, I can build the last structure here. So I will put the wonder die on it, and let's grab this structure. And again, I could have put any die, but I chose this one. And if I did not have this comprehension, I could still build it, but I'd have to spend a time, and I don't really want to do that. So we're going to pip this down. Here's our workshop. So at the end of the turn, we'll flip that over, and then we'll be able to turn the page on this booklet. And now I'm going to take the Move Explorer action. I'm going to move green to here. So that gets me 1 insight, but also costs 1 time. So here's the insight. The time, the track loops back around, so all explorers lose 1 endurance. And that kicks up another spore cloud. But now I'm getting green a little bit closer to blue to be able to be on the same node, to be local, to remove this infection from the distress card. But I'm not going to have green take the traverse action. 1, because I'm out of focus blocks, but 2, because I don't want green to go up there, because then green will gain a distress. I'd rather have blue come down to green. But let's now have Luna do a scan, and I'm going to look for materials again. I need more of my things need materials than need data. So let's do that, even though I haven't picked anything up. All right, there's 2 materials right there. And now let's move Luna, and I'm just going to have Luna come up this way. I don't know if that'll be a helpful spot for Luna to be or not, but kind of centralized is probably better. The map's kind of built out at this point. I don't know if I've got a lot of interest in seeing what's in those other corners, or not, at least until I know what comes on this next card, which of course I do know, but you presumably don't. So let's keep going. So I don't want to attempt a long range swap. I don't want to apply gooey fungal salve because I do have the energy for that one. I don't have materials there. Can't do these. Blue, in theory, could interrupt with absorb pearlescence, but I don't think I want to. I think I want to keep this fungal host tag anyway, and then maybe I can use this later. So I think I'm done with green. So we're going to put this on rest. We pip it up. We advance time. And now we bring back all of our focus blocks because we're done with our turn. And flip over this structure. So this is the workshop. So now from anywhere on the map, we can use the workshop. We spend one energy to move Luna. So that's cool. You can just continue to spend energy as you have it to just move Luna. You can get Luna to move across the map really quickly. So that can be very helpful. But that's it for green's turn. We've now accomplished this. All the buildings are out. So let's flip this over and see what happens next. We have Rumble in the Fungal, and I'm just going to summarize this for you. So this giant embryonic sac spawns in this nearby swamp. That was a real reach. So this goes here, and it's creating all these little tentacle creatures. So we're just going to move all these tokens to this space. And Luna says that these tentacle creatures eat the fungal spores. So here's how this works. When an explorer leaves the node adjacent to the swamp, so when an explorer leaves this node, one of these sticks to them and you put it on your player board. And then if the explorer ever enters a node that has a spore, you replace the spore with the tentacles because the tentacles eat it. And then a spore can no longer spawn in a node where there's a tentacle already present. So this is a pretty cool example of what this game does. You kind of explore some stuff, and then this thing that we've had an issue trying to work around, all these spore clouds giving us distress. We've been trying to avoid it. Now we can use the planet itself to try and solve that problem for us, and then we'll see what happens. So the next goal here is we must deliver tiny tentacles to the two four spore clouds to consume them. When consumed, move the spore cloud markers here. When all 4 boxes are filled, discard markers and advance the page. So our new task, subtask, is to go to this node and leave it and bring the tentacles with us and have them eat a spore cloud. And once we've eaten 4 clouds, once the tentacles have, then we can turn the page. So that's what we're working on now. So it's Blue's turn. Let's get started. And I'll start with Luna taking a scan. And there's already materials here, so I'm going to scan for data. So let's roll for that. 3 data, okay. And take that die back. And now what are we doing? Now I'm going to move my explorer. So I'm going to go from this node down to this one. So I pass 2 insight symbols, so I get 2 insight for that move. And then this part here says, when entering this node, if you have fungal host, which Blue does, gain 1 material. So we actually get a material, and it goes here into our general pool that any player can use. And now I don't want Blue to move again. I don't want to do traverse because that'll add a spore cloud here, and it's just going to make a whole logistical mess of spore clouds and tentacles and trying to figure all that out. But additionally, I want to make sure I keep green and blue together so that green can take care of this distress card on their turn. So I think what I'm going to do is investigate. So I pip down. I use my wonder die, so I gain 1 insight. And now I gain one of these investigate tokens and a moment marker. And we'll just go ahead and grab the other color just for fun. This node's getting a little bit crowded, but there's room. There we go. And let's see what it is. What's happening in the moment? We have, let's put it where I can read it. Azure Paste Rift. So we'll grab the associated token. And this card says, a series of fleshy tubes peel open their tops, revealing pools of bright paste and emitting a strange energy. A mold-covered creature stops to investigate. When it touches the paste, it vanishes, reappearing moments later with a hardened crystalline shell and several companions. If they can do it. So immediately gain 2 energy. I like that. So now we've got 4 energy. So now there's a new action we can interact with on this moment. Plunge arms deep into the paste. So you'd pip down, you would gain these botanical crystals along with an anomaly. And then this is really cool. So it says immediately, pip up, gain an insight, and place all other explorers onto this node. Oh, all explorers gain 1 insight and pip up. That's amazing. So I do think I want to do that. I don't know that I want to do it right this second, though. I think I can make use of that on a future turn. That's really handy to have, though. I'm glad I've got that. So let's do this now. I'm going to use this action here, and I'm going to use my energy die because this one's already at the bottom. If I try and pip it down, I'm going to lose time, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to use my energy die, pip it down, so I don't get the bonus. But now on Luna's node, Luna gathers 1 data and places it here. If I had used this awareness die, then I would also be able to grab a second data and place it there. But that's okay. There's still 2 there, remaining, so I can still use an awareness die on a future turn maybe and grab both of those. So now I'm going to take my awareness die, place it on rest so I can pip it up. We advance time. That's all of my focus. I could still move Luna, but I don't think I want to for the reason I just stated. I want Luna to maybe grab that other 2 data on another turn. So I'm going to leave Luna there. So let's reset these action trackers. We'll grab my focus blocks. And now it is Green's turn. And I'm going to have Green start by doing the support action. And I'm going to use the Wonder die. So I pip that down 1. And when I support, it says distribute among local explorers. So all explorers on this node, remove up to 2 distress. We've only got 1, but we'll remove it. I'm glad to get rid of it. And increase trust. So trust goes back up. And since trust went up, these tokens flip back over. So Harmonist is on recover now, and Caretaker goes on rest. All right, I like that. So now I would like to have Green move from here to here, and that causes time to advance, and Green gains 1 insight, and then we leave a spore cloud behind. And then I will take the traverse action with my energy die. So I pip that down 1 because I used my energy die. I gained the bonus of 1 insight, and now I can move again. So I'm going to move from here back to here. Again, that gains me an insight and costs the time. And because I exited the node adjacent to the swamp, the green player has one of these tiny tentacles stick to them. Now, the node that we just entered has a spore cloud. So this tiny tentacle eats that spore cloud. And we place this here to track that we've done that once. And that means when Blue's turn starts, they will not be on a node with a spore cloud, so they won't gain another distress. So that's pretty handy. So now I could move Luna or have Luna scan. And you know what? Maybe I will do that. I should have done this last time. Let's move Luna to here and then have Luna scan for data. Maybe I can get enough to pick up here. Yeah, there's 2 data. Okay. So we've done that. And I'm not going to take any of the miscellaneous actions. So let's just set this last focus to rest. We pip it up. We advance time. Getting ready to advance time again, so we're getting low. But now these action trackers get reset. Reclaim our focus blocks, and it's Blue's turn. So I'm going to start by having Luna gather data. So I'm going to use my awareness die, pip it down, and because I used awareness, I can gather 2 data. So they come, from Luna's node from here. So now I've got a lot of data, and now let's move Luna. And I guess just for the sake of where I'm at, I might as well move Luna up just to see what's going on there. So we have, ooh, that looks cool. We've got viscous egg pools up there, and there's a building slot there. So I could build this, Luna Synthesizer, which is an add-on component. It's like a mini expansion. I could build that there. Not much else going on, really. I wouldn't love spending the time to get up there, but I gain an insight, and there's nothing on this edge node. Going from here to here, though, I can gain 2 insight, and if Blue were to do it, who is a fungal host, they won't get any distress. So that's, I don't know, interesting anyway. Although I'm now realizing at some point Blue moved from here down to here. There should be a spore cloud up there. I must have missed that. I don't know when I did, but that's okay. So I'm going to use this breakthrough right now, ingest pearlescent slurry. So I need to spend 1 material, and an explorer currently within 1 node may ignore time symbols on node edges for the remainder of this turn. I'm going to use that on myself, and I'm just going to turn it sideways here. I'm going to tap that card to show that I've used it, because all of these are limit once per turn. So Blue is going to ignore time symbols on adjacent nodes or when moving between nodes. And so I'm going to do the move explorer action to go from here to here, ignoring time, but still gaining the insight. And now I'm going to use this energy die. I'm going to pip it down and go to traverse, which then gains me another insight, which gains me a comprehension and a breakthrough. So let's see what I've got here. And remember, this was just for this bonus. I've not taken this traverse action yet, so I'll put it there so I don't forget. I'm going to set this back to the one that Blue started with. We'll just go back to robotics. And what is this breakthrough? Perform augmented yank. Gather up to 2 materials from this node and or adjacent nodes into the stockpile. And it costs 1 energy. So that's neat. And now let's perform this traverse action. So I'm going to have Blue move down to here. And again, we're ignoring the time symbol because I've ingested a pearlescent slurry. And by exiting this node, I gain 1 of these. And by ending up on this node, I place that here, and it eats this fungal spore, so we've got our second one now. And I might as well have Luna scan while we're up there, and let's go for materials again. 3 materials. Okay. And now I'll take the rest action. And so there is no pipping down here. And it says a local explorer advances time. So we've got to do that first. And now everybody loses an endurance. So that track's getting low. But then required a local explorer pip up 2 times. So I think I'll put 1 here. And I'll put the other one here. And now I've set all my focus. Let's recover my focus blocks. 1 here, 1 here. This one comes back. Reset my action markers. Untap this card. I guess I'll put these cards above Blue now. Okay, back to green. And I think I am going to use this attempt long range swap, node swap right now. So I need to spend 1 energy. And again, it says roll the blue data die to determine your range. You may swap places with Luna if she's within that range. And that's limit once per turn. So I'm going to roll the blue die. And if I roll a 2, because I'm 2 away, 1, 2. If I roll a 2 or a 3, I can swap places with Luna. So let's do that. So here we go with the blue die. 3, hey, all right. So let's swap places here. That is helpful. And you know what? Let's do some other things too. Let's use this workshop action. I'm going to spend an energy to move Luna again. I'm going to move Luna to here. And then Blue is going to use deploy mechanized puff. I'm going to spend a data to remove a spore cloud from Luna's node, because this spore cloud is kind of driving me crazy. Although, you know what? I'm not going to do that right now. I'm probably going to do that later. But I am going to use that because that spore cloud is driving me crazy. But I guess now is not the time to do it. So I'm instead going to have green move now down into this node. So that's going to leave a spore cloud behind. And we've passed a time symbol and an insight symbol. So green now gains a blue comprehension and breakthrough. And what is this one? Deploy robotic sidecar. So you can spend a data, and an explorer on Luna's node may move wherever Luna moves, ignoring all node edge symbols. This effect can begin or end mid-move. Limit once per turn. That's amazing. I am definitely into that. So let's take this insight die. We'll swap it back to the chemistry side now, I guess. That's where green started, so we'll have green double up on that one. And you know what? Let's do that now. Let's spend a data. And now when Luna moves, green can go with and ignore all node edge symbols. So now we'll move Luna up, which will bring green with, but green can ignore the time, ignoring the insight too, but at least the time is ignored. And as green leaves this node, they get one of these little tentacles, which then eats this spore cloud. So that is our third of those. And we're using some data now. So let's have Luna scan for data while we're here. We can't scan for materials because it's already there, but there we go. 2 more data. Right there. And I think, so we've got some focus die left here. I am going to spend this one. I'll pip it down 1 here for Luna to take those 2 data off of that node and put them in the supply. That's nice to have. And I guess let's take this special Harmonist Recover action here. I'm going to put my Wonder die on there, and it says I can pip up twice and gain 1 insight. And if another explorer is on my node, then time passes. But there's no other explorer where green is, so I don't have to do that. And now I'll put this focus die on rest, so that pips up to 2, advance time. And that is all my actions for this turn. I'm not going to take any other actions. So let's get my focus blocks back and reset my action markers. All right. Oh, and untap these cards. And now it is Blue's turn. And let's see if I can do some fancy moving here. I'm going to start by moving Explorer up onto this node. So that's going to cost 1 time. Although, no, let's back that up just a second. I am going to do that, but not yet. First, I'm going to do Perform Augmented Yank. So I'm going to spend 1 energy and gather up to 2 materials from this node and or adjacent nodes into the stockpile. So let's tap that. So I'm going to gather 1 from here and 1 from here, because I can only pick up 1 or max 2 at a time. So let's grab the 1 and then the third one there. So I get these 2. They go in the stockpile. And now I'm going to ingest Pearlescent Slurry, which costs me a material. And an explorer currently within 1 node may ignore time symbols on node edges for the rest of this turn. So I'm going to apply that to myself. So I can ignore time symbols. So now I will move, go up here, and not advance time. Oh, and I was going to try and attempt a long-range swap Blue and Luna, and then have Blue with one of the tentacles and come back into this node and remove the spore cloud. But attempt long range swap is only for yourself. It's only for green. It says roll the blue data die to determine your range. You may swap places with Luna. I don't think I can do that for others. So I guess what I'll do instead is I will take a traverse action. So pip down here. I use the energy die, so I gain an insight, and now I can move. So I'll just move over here. And I will, because I exited that node, gain one of these tentacles, so at least I have one on me. And I'm not really sure what else I want to do, so I think I'm going to activate this opportunity now. So I'm going to pip down on my Wonder die and plunge my arms deep into the paste. And so it says to place all other explorers onto this node. So let's do that. And green, oh, I was going to say green exited that node, but there's already a tentacle there, so we don't need to add a spore cloud. And all explorers gain 1 insight and get to pip up 1 time. So I think I'm going to do both of those on the energy dice, okay? Or the energy blocks. And so now the moment has passed, and we gain an anomaly with this token on it. And this says vacuum up fine particles. So you must have robotics present, robotics comprehension, which is no big deal for me now because both of my explorers have at least 1 of each comprehension. And then I can discard this, and all explorers within 1 node remove 1 distress. That's pretty cool, very helpful. And this one has the tag powdery. I have not come across that anywhere yet, but fungal host and rare polymers. We've seen some of the fungal host are those two. These two have polymers. This one has fungal host. I haven't seen powdery anywhere, but I'm sure it's somewhere. So I think now I'm going to move Luna. I'm going to move Luna down to here, and I might as well have Luna scan for some more data. So let's roll this to data. So those go right here. And I think I'm good with that. So let's put this on rest, which does not, this is my special one, I do not pip up, but I do advance time. And then required a local explorer pips up twice. And I think the blue player needs it more than green. So I'm going to pip up this blue die and this green die, so none of them are on the time symbol. And now let's recover these focus blocks. I'm going to keep calling them die because that's what they are, but focus blocks. So let's grab these, reset these, whoopsie, and this opportunity card goes away, so we'll put it on the bottom of the stack it came from if I can reach it. All right, and now it is green's turn. So we will start by having green ingest the pearlescent slurry. Because green is within one node of blue, they may ignore time symbols on node edges for the rest of this turn. And we'll have green move into, is that how I'm going to do that? How am I going to do this? No, what I'm going to do is attempt a long range node swap. So I'm going to spend 1 energy, and I'm going to roll for range. And my range is 1. That's just fine. So Luna is within range 1 of me, so I can swap with Luna. Just swap places like that. Okay. And now green is going to move here, ignoring the time symbol because they've ingested this slurry, pearlescent slurry. We ignore that time symbol, but we do gain the insight. And we exited this node, so we gain one of these. So now I'm going to have green take the traverse action. I pip down. I use my energy die, so I gain an insight. And now I'm going to traverse, and I can move or carry a local player. And I think I might do that. Yeah, I'm going to move green here, again, ignoring the time symbol, and bring blue with me. And blue ignores all edge symbols because they're being carried, but this still applies. They have the rare polymers tag, so they gain 2 energy into the general supply. So thanks for coming with me, blue. And as green and blue enter this node, they both have these tentacles. Doesn't really matter which one we use. We'll just use greens because it's green's turn. Oops, and that doesn't go there. That goes here, and that is the 4th one. So when all 4 markers are filled, discard the markers and advance the page. And it doesn't say at the end of the turn, so I guess I'm just going to do that now. So let's discard all 4 of these and find out what we're up against. Turn the page. Welcome to the fungal. First things first, trust goes up. Trust track only has 2 spots, and we're at the top. So when you try and advance it and you cannot advance it, then you distribute among all players 2 pip ups. And I'm going to give both of them to blue, I think. I'm going to put 1 on the wonder die and 1 on the energy die. And the short story here is all of these tiny tentacle tokens go back to the nest. They've been feeding on the fungal spores really well, which has been great, but now they've grown a bunch and they are no longer tiny tentacles. Now they're giant, extra hungry, angry tentacles. So at the start of every turn going forward, we have to place a tentacle onto this node and then advance it twice towards the closest explorer. And if it reaches an explorer, it explodes, and it says it secretes its brain venom, which causes a distress to that explorer, and then you return the token to the nest. So we're going to have to watch out for that. And the new thing we need to do is we need to collect 6 materials, and we have to do so using this method here, the unearth method. It's specifically called out. So I cannot use my perform augmented yank, as nice as that would be. So I need to go gather 6 materials. If I had any materials already here, they would not count. And once I've got 6 here, I need to have an explorer on the laboratory perform this process action. And what this all represents is, don't forget we were really hungry. So we're gathering all these different funguses. Now that we know more about this planet, we can process them in the lab to make food. So that's what we're trying to do. In order to process it, though, you must have all 3 different comprehension types present. Luckily, I've been diversifying, so I'll be able to do that. But we've got precious little time left. So I need to get started on this right away. So let's attempt a long-range node swap. I'm going to spend 1 energy and roll the blue die. 1. I am within range 1 of Luna, so that's convenient. So we can swap places now. Luna goes here, green goes here. Green exited that node, so we do have a spore cloud again. Not great for blue. But now green can go ahead and unearth materials, and I use the wonder die, so I can grab 2 of them. So these will go on this card now. So I've got 2 of 6, and now I can have Luna scan. So let's have Luna scan for materials right there where blue is. 1. All right, 2 would have been better. I'll take 1. There we go. And do I want to move Luna now? No, actually, I don't think I do. Oh, well, you know what? I do, but not before blue uses this free action to spend a data, deploy mechanized puff, remove a spore cloud from Luna's node. So this goes away, and that'll save blue a distress. And now green can move Luna. And let's have Luna go down here. Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. We'll go here. We'll go on the same spot as green, and I think that's all we're going to do. So this goes here, pips up on rest, which advances time, and now we're going to recover these. Where's the green one? There it is. And now we're in for a ride. So at the start of every turn, we place one of these tiny tentacles here and then advance it up to 2 spaces towards the closest explorer. And if it reaches the explorer, which it does, it explodes, getting brain venom all over them, and they gain a distress. So let's grab this distress. So trust goes down. We need to flip these over. Okay, and I'm going to put the distress on this recover action here. Oh, and this has not been used this turn. We can untap that. All right, and here's how this is going to go down. I'm going to start by moving blue to here. And because blue is a fungal host, upon entering, we gain one of these to here. And that move is going to cost a time. And now I'm going to have blue traverse. So I'm going to spend 1 energy. Because I use the energy die, I gain an insight. And I'm going to bring green with me down to here. And there are no edge node symbols that I need to worry about. And we are going to leave a spore cloud behind by leaving that node. And now let's move Luna down to here. And I'm going to have blue unearth materials. So I pip down, I use my wonder die so I can grab these 2. So now I'm up to 4. And let's have Luna scan now for more materials. So we roll this die. 1, oh, that's a disappointment. 2 would have been real nice. So tell you what, let's perform an augmented yank, spend 1 energy, and I can gather this from this node to here. And now I can rest, so I pip up my awareness die and time advances. Ooh, boy. And so my endurance goes down 1 more time. If it goes down again, the game's going to be over. But that's going to be it for blue's turn. So let's take that back, this one. And that gets untapped. Reset these. It's green's turn now. And at the start of the turn, there is a spore cloud here. So it's real quick. Apply gooey fungal salve. So that costs a material. And a local explorer can pip up and is immune to distress from spore clouds this turn. So we avoid the 1 distress, and we'll pip up on this one. But now we still need to place one of these here and have it move twice. So it's going to go 1, 2, and it's going to explode. And it's a little bit unclear to me if both explorers should gain a distress or just 1. So let me read the directions in full. It says, place a tentacle token on the node adjacent to the nest at the start of every single turn, then move all tentacles not on the nest 2 spaces towards the nearest explorer. In the case of a tie, they move toward the tied option who will next be or is currently active. If a tentacle tear reaches an explorer, it secretes its brain venom and explodes, causing 1 distress to that explorer. Return the token to the nest. I'm going to play it where they both get a distress, I suppose. That's really going to hurt, but I want to make sure that I'm being conservative with the rules. So they're each going to gain a distress. They're both infected. So flip that, flip that. Blues is going to go on recover. Greens is going to go on, I don't know, theorize. And when gained, then trust goes down. It's already down, so we have to bump it and then bump it again, 1 for each of these. So we're going to have to distribute among all players, pip down 4 times. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's the one I need the least right now. But green now has 2 distress. So the moment you have 2 or more distress, draw a hallucination card. So I did kind of want to show this. So engaged, fungal host. Green is now fungal host. So this hallucination says, at the edge of your vision you see it, the large solid body of a spore cloud, only visible if you look between dimensions, between worlds. You realize that with focus, you can fracture the light, see the truth beyond the cloud, perceive its real form, and banish it from this plane. That is quite the hallucination. You do not gain distress from spore clouds. When you enter a node, remove any spore cloud there. Now, and at the start of your turns, pip down. So that's something. We'll pip down. And it says at the bottom here, discard this when you have less than 2 distress. So you have like a little bit of a superpower. You're pipping down, but you can get rid of all these spore clouds. So that's interesting. So I definitely wanted to show a hallucination. I'm glad I was able to work that in. Now I'm going to have Luna scan, and I'm going to scan for materials. Let's hope I get 2 or 3. 3, excellent. So let's pick these up. 1, 2, and 3. And now I will do this. I will unearth materials. So I pip that down, grab 2. They go here to the card. So we've got 6 here on the card now. And now I just need to get to the lab to process them, and I can do that. All right, so now I am going to move green into this node where the laboratory is. There are no node edge symbols there. There's already spore cloud here, so leaving didn't add another one. And now all of the comprehension types are present, so I am going to place this die, the energy die here, to process these edibles. And the card says, when the focus cube is removed from the process edibles action, discard the materials and advance. So we'll advance this at the end of the turn. And to avoid another distress coming, let's do this deploy mechanized puff and spend a data to get rid of this spore cloud on that node, on Luna's node. Oh, and this will be kind of neat. Let's go ahead and have blue use this as well, this vacuum up fine particles. So to discard this, all explorers within one node get rid of 1 distress. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We spend this, and this goes away. This is used. And now we do the effect. So let's get rid of this and this. And now green has less than 2 distress. So we discard this hallucination. So again, I'll put it face up on the bottom of the stack. So somehow if we get down through the stack, we know that that we've gone through all of them. And I could still move Luna, but I don't think I'm going to. So I'm just going to put this focus die on rest. So we pip it up and advance time. And I'm going to call that the end of my turn. So let's untap all these cards and recover the focus blocks. And when I take this energy one off, these 6 materials get discarded. And we advance the book. And it says, a farewell to many arms. So it's time to get the heck out of here. We need to get both explorers and Luna onto the Scarab. And if at any point we do that, the mission ends in success. However, these tentacles that keep coming out, that continues in the meantime. So we're getting low on time, but we might be able to make it. I think we can make it. So When we start the turn, tentacle comes out, moves twice towards the closest. That's green. It's going to explode. Green gets another distress again, which means trust goes down. So we got to pip down twice. And I'm going to do that, I think, for green. Let's do it with this die and this die. Oof. And we've got 2 distress again. So we gain another hallucination. This one, green is a fungal host. And this is interesting. This says, shapes rise up around you, shadows. They shift in and out of forms. You feel their despair. No, it's simpler than that. Their sadness, their disappointment. You brought this taint into their mist. You upset the balance. Guilt and shame consume you. Oh, what a terrible trip. So the rules are now, you must use all of your movement each turn to move closer to Luna using the most direct path. You are not required to use the traverse action, but you do have to use your move explorer action then. If you ever share a node with Luna, remove her primary function card from the game and pip up 3 times. Then reduce your distress to 1. Well, our placement on the map is pretty convenient for this. So let's go ahead and take a movement action to here. And there are no edge node symbols, and we now share a node with Luna. So we remove her primary function card from the game. I never even used it. It said this was robotic soothing voice. An explorer on Luna's node may remove a distress. All right, so this is removed from the game. I'll just flip it upside down like that and pip up 3 times. So let's just go 1, 2, and 3, and then reduce your distress to 1. So let's get rid of this one. And now since we have less than 2 distress, we remove the hallucination. All right. I think that was a net positive. Now what are we going to do? Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do, and it's going to be awesome. Blue is going to interrupt with this ability, close eyes and detonate. So when we discard this, we have to pip down 1 time. Let's do the wonder die, I guess. And now charge energy to maximum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is maxed. Okay, and this gets discarded. Now I'm going to deploy Robotic Sidecar. An explorer on Luna's node may move wherever Luna moves, ignoring all node edge symbols. This effect can begin or end mid-move. So we have to spend a data for that. I'm going to apply it to green. And now I'm going to move Luna. And we're going to go here. And now green left that node, so we're going to leave this fungal spore behind. Oh yeah, wait, let's back up a second. Okay, we could do this a little differently. Remove the fungal spore. So we haven't moved Luna yet, but I'm still using the robotic sidecar. So first I am going to traverse. So we pip this down, gain an insight, and that was on chemistry. So we gain another comprehension and another breakthrough. Let's see what option that might open up. Drink reeking sludge. You can spend a material and either you gain 3 pip-ups or another local explorer gains 2 insight. That's kind of neat. I don't think I'll need it right now. We'll put this on, I don't know, this one, engineering. So this is now full, but if this gets all the way back around, I can then choose to remove one of these existing ones, gain a new breakthrough. I'd have to get rid of a breakthrough I've already got too, but you can keep looping this around. But anyway, I am traversing right now. So I am bringing blue with me to here. And there are no edge node symbols. We leave a spore cloud behind. Now I'll move Luna up to here. And now we'll deploy mechanized puff. So we spend the data. I think I want to do that to get rid of this. And now I will spend my awareness die, pip that down to gain the 2 data here on Luna's node. So we've got that. And now I'm going to use this workshop action. I'm going to spend energy, 1, 2, 3 energy to move Luna. And because I've activated robotic sidecar with green, green goes with, ignoring all node edge symbols. 1, 2, 3. They are on the scarab. So now blue's just got to make it back. I think this is going to happen. Although, I didn't think about that. Green did pass through these nodes. I still think we have to add spore clouds there. But that's okay. I can get through it. And when blue entered this node, blue still has fungal host, so we gain 1 material. Okay, we're in pretty good shape. So let's put this on rest. So that pips up, time advances. Clear all these actions, bring the die back to here. Untap the cards. And it's blue's turn, and at the start of the turn, I will discard this before anything happens. So before I gain a distress for that spore cloud, I will discard this absorb pearlescence. It says remove one spore cloud from your node and or from one adjacent node. So let's do this node and one adjacent node. And now this is used. Cool. But there's still going to be a big tentacle, so that's going to spawn here and move and explode. So that's a distress right there for blue. And that makes trust go down, so I need to pip down twice. Let's do that here on green. And that's blue's only distress, so I don't have a hallucination at the moment. And now let's ingest a pearlescent slurry. So I'm going to spend a material, and now time symbols on node edges don't affect blue. And we're going to move explorer here. I no longer have rare polymer, so I don't get any energy, but I do ignore that time symbol. And now I am going to traverse. So I pip that down. I guess I technically gain an insight. And now I can move to here, again, ignoring that time symbol. And now, finally, I am going to use this workshop action again. I'm going to spend, well, let's start with one energy to move Luna. And then green's going to deploy robotic sidecar, spending data. So an explorer on Luna's node may move whenever Luna moves, ignoring all node edge symbols. So that applies to blue now. We're going to spend, or I guess I can just do move Luna like that. And there we go. We are all back on the Scarab. That is a victory. Very exciting. So that was a playthrough of Unsettled, Planet 1, Wenora, Task A. So I hope this gives you some idea of the feel for the game. So I think I'm just going to talk a little bit now about the game, now that you've got some something to reference here. So now that you've seen it all the way through, you kind of know the different, little tasks, the mini tasks you have to do within the main task. So you can see how on subsequent playthroughs, you can kind of plan ahead for that. And you can see how I did do that on this playthrough. So I knew I was going to need to collect a bunch of this material and I'd have to bring it to the laboratory. So I kind of surrounded the laboratory with material as much as I could. But even that being the case, I didn't know where the laboratory was going to be. It took me a long time to find these building slots, and I really, really wanted the laboratory to be here of those 3 spots because I wanted it close to the Scarab because I knew after we use the lab, we got to get out of here. But that's just not the way that the comprehension tokens worked out, and I was just glad that I didn't end up having to build it there because that would have been, I think, pretty rough. But even knowing all that, I think there's good replay value here because you can see all of these breakthrough cards are unique, they're different, so even if you know the ones that are in the deck, some of these I've seen before, some I had not. So the game is really about what tools do you get and how can you use them. The hallucinations, we saw a little bit of that, but that's a pretty sizable stack of cards here. I forget how many exactly there are. I want to say 12, and we saw 2 of them. So some of those are going to be beneficial, some maybe not. So it's a little bit variable. And same thing with opportunities. I'm pretty sure there's 12 of those in this box, and we saw 3 of them. So you don't know what you're going to get or how you might want to use it. So I think a lot of this game, it's definitely fun to explore that first time through, to have some surprises. But even after you know what's coming, it's more about, all right, how can we use the tools that we have to try and accomplish the goals? I think that's where the replay value comes in, and I think that's going to be just fine. I think I'm going to want to play this task many more times. It's still a lot of fun. And then each planet box comes with 3 tasks, and then there are additional task packs, for 1 task each for planets 1 through 6, as of today. So you'll see those in some unboxing videos later. I've got an Unsettled playlist. I'll link to it at the end of this video so you can kind of see what's in there currently. But I've got 4 tasks for planet A, or for planet 1 through planet 6. So 24 tasks total. This was 1 task. So yeah, I definitely think I'm going to get replay value out of this. That was maybe what I was most worried about going into getting all this Unsettled stuff. I didn't know if you play it once and just that's it. You kind of know what's coming. You're not going to play it again. I don't think that's the case at all. So I think there's a lot of interest, a lot of things to discover, and every playthrough is going to be a bit different. So that's my opinion on the whole series with the framework and the different planets and how they work. Now, also, each planet really has its own feel. So I think you got a feel for the hallucinations and the fungus stuff going on this planet, but other planets have different things going on. So they're going to feel pretty different. And I think they'll have a distinct personality. So in my mind, the framework comes with 2 planets. In my mind, I think I would want a minimum of 4. Now, of course, I've already said I have 6, but 4 seems like the minimum number where, like, if I want to play Unsettled, if I look at these 4 planets, even if I've played all of them and all of their tasks, surely there's, one of them where I'm going to look and like, yeah, I want to go back to that planet. Just the 2 that come with the framework, you might start to get tired if you've only got those 2. But if you've got more in the rotation, like it's been enough time since you've played the last time that, like, all right, well, last time I played planet 4 and before that was 2 and before that was 1. So let's grab planet 3. It's been a long time since I played that one. And then if you're really into it, then you can always add more. At time of recording, I believe there's 11 planets. But yeah, this whole system is pretty cool. So again, quick reminder for if you play a different planet, what's going to be the same, what's going to be different. Obviously, the task is going to be different. There's 3 tasks in each planet's box to start with, but then all these cards here, the anomalies, the breakthroughs, and the distress cards are different for each planet. The map tiles are all going to be different by planet. The hallucinations are just the planet-specific cards for planet 1. You're not always hallucinating, but other planets will have other things. They may have more than one type of planet-specific cards. They'll have some sort of deck. All the opportunity cards are going to be different, along with all the little markers up there. Those are all unique to each planet. So it really does change up a lot from game to game. The stuff that's the same is obviously the actions you can take. You've got a fixed deck of these traits. You're obviously going to have your different focus blocks, but this whole system with breakthroughs is the same. The buildings are the same. The breakthroughs you get are different, but the comprehension tokens are the same. All of this stuff is the same, I guess, with the exception of these black ones. So these are, of course, planet or task specific. Each task might decide to use these in a different way. But this whole system of gaining resources will be the same. The system of how opportunities work is the same. It's just the opportunities themselves are different. One thing I did not use was Luna's synthesizer here. So again, this was a small add-on. But if we had built this, in order to build it, you must have 1 comprehension token of any type. You cannot use time. If you recall, if you don't have the comprehension to build the other buildings, you can spend a time. For Luna's workshop, you must have 1 comprehension, but once you build it, you can decide when Luna does a scan for either data or materials, before you roll, you can spend an energy, and then you add Luna's die to the die you're rolling. So in this case, 1 plus 3 is 4. You would put 4 data on there. So that way you're never going to roll less than 1, which would have been helpful, for example, partway through this mission where we need a lot of material. You could pick up 2 material at a time, so it's kind of a bummer when you roll a 1, because after Luna has scanned for something, you cannot scan for that thing on that node again until it's empty. So it's preferable to roll at least a 2. So this is a pretty neat little add-on. I do like having it. I don't always use it, but I like to have the option. I like it being there. And I think I'll do more playthroughs of this game as well. I think I'm going to limit myself to 1 task per planet on this channel, just so I don't spoil too much, even though I don't think it's all that spoilery. But I will use some of the other add-on content later. So I've got scientific specialties and scientific fascinations. I'm going to try those out in future videos. But anyway, let me know what you think. I'm really curious about what you think in the comments. So leave some comments. Let me know what's your opinion of the game. Do you have it? Have you played it? Are you interested in it now? Do you think this was too spoilery to put on this channel, or do you think it was fine? Do you want me to put other playthroughs on the channel of other planets? Is that something you're interested in? So I definitely would like to know that. But yeah, my opinion is this is a very cool game. I would love to try it multiplayer. I think that would be fun. It supports up to 4 players, but definitely have a good time solo. I'm fine with it this way. If nobody ever wanted to play it with me, I would still have a good time playing it like this. So I think it's meant to be a social game a little bit, but for me, it does totally work solo. If that's the only way I could play it, I'd be happy. But please do consider subscribing to the channel if you have not done so yet, and leave a like on the video. That is very helpful and very much appreciated. And if you're really into it, you can head over to my Ko-fi page, ko-fi. There's a link in the description for every video I've made. For my Ko-fi page, you can throw me a couple dollars. It helps keep the channel running. It is really appreciated. It helps me do things like avoid mid-roll ads during my videos, which you may or may not have noticed, but I bet you appreciate it now that I said it. But that is what I've got this time on Table for One. I had an awesome time playing Unsettled. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I'm looking forward to talking to you about it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Have an awesome week.